I have some commercial property out there now that she did so. It is, but I've been fortunate, like, one place. The tenant was anything. Birds, crocodiles.
We're kind of just trying to match. Right off the I work with no AC all day today, so. That's how I have no AC.
That's smart. I wasn't thinking, actually, they had. They check to make sure you can hear it. So they had because they didn't get that helped, and then really with it still show. I said, and then they have so
I called the county attorney and Mr. Burke is defending a no contact order against Rachel. He's gonna call the county attorney to get clarification on public meetings, but he asked me to ask Don to step outside until he gets that clarification, and Don's refusing to do so.
I had to sit down with the sheriff and chief, whatever, last week, and they said
it's okay.
public meetings have no bearing on.
Nobody told us that. So unfortunately, we were the ones out of the loop. I will notify the attorney, because neither of us were told we were waiting to go out. And then obviously tonight, nothing like last month. So let me get an address.
Call to order. Scott, you want to take roll call, please?
Brand,
Here.
Zook,
Here.
Lund, here, Kyle,
Here.
Mayor Jensen.
Here. Pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can I get a motion for the approval of the tentative agenda?
I move we approve the tentative agenda.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion's passed. Public comment, agenda items only.
Consent agenda.
Oh, sorry, yeah, I missed that one. Moving on to 40. Too fast. Consent agenda.
I move we approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Now, public comment.
Tony, thanks for that.
Yes.
Hi, my name's Elaine Webb. I live at 301 3rd Street Northeast. And this is on the agenda because it's regarding refunding sewer water costs to people that fill their pools up with water. Last council meeting, I watched it from home, and Dean Brand said that we should honor our word when you guys gave the Des Moines Airport money. Honor our word. Now, you guys gave Jacoby the right to okay and to refund water prices on people without coming through the proper channels. That's fine. Dad and I, we came through the proper channels, came up front, told you guys what was going on. Every month I asked you guys, would you pay half of the bill? And that council said, well, let's wait till next month. Let's wait till next month. And the bill kept getting higher and higher and higher. And you all know my dad went in there and fixed it. My dad's 87 years old. He's got to go down in the pit and turn it on. And now I heard from Steve Zook last council meeting that now you guys are not going to pay for it, that George Redmond will have to pay for it or have it looked at his own expense when that's on city council, city property. Now, Dad has done everything that you guys asked him to do. Now you're going to honor your word to the Des Moines Airport, but you're going to discriminate against George Redmond and not honor Jacoby's word when she gave it to my dad about we're going to get you a new water meter, we're going to wait till spring to get that. That's what you call discrimination. There's two people on the board that do not like my dad, Dean Brand and Steve Zook.
There's nothing wrong with the water
Why is his bill so high?
because he had a leak.
But he kept going into the pit to shut it off because that's where the leak was, inside the pit. And that's why he kept shutting the water off.
Fittings coming out of the meter.
Well, the word was we were going to get a new water meter. So my deal is you're not going to honor your word for that. And another thing is on my agenda. I just want to make note of that. So it's on record. That's discrimination. Another thing is I want to address is the payroll. This payroll is $20,000 higher than last payroll. Last payroll was $53,000. This payroll is $73,000. And we had another payroll that was $16,000 over the previous payroll. I don't understand why the payroll is so extremely high. Who is running this town? I don't know who's overseeing what's going on. Mary Balla used to be our city clerk for 30 years plus. Our town has not grown that much except for Deer Run. Everything was written out by hand by her. She left the office every day at 4:30. She was the only one in the office. Everything was done by hand and kept record that way. And now we're getting double pay, overtime pay. We're working Saturdays, Sundays, and holidays. What for? What are we getting done during those hours? Who's okaying all this overtime and double time? If you city council cannot run this town and find out what's going on with all of our money, then you need to stand up and walk out the door because you're not overseeing what Jacoby's doing to get $20,000 more in pay. I don't know where that money's going. Do you guys know where that money's going? Can you explain to me how come it's $20,000 more this pay period? And I did ask for pay stubs. And it is my right to get copies of the pay stubs that I asked for. And the city attorney turned me down. And he said, I believe during this code, you do not get those. That's wrong. So I'm going to pursue that again.
You can always file a complaint about it.
I will. Because it's in the state of Iowa law. And people of Mitchellville should be really worried about all this overtime that's coming up and double time pay. What is getting accomplished? Do we have a camera in City Hall watching what's going on in that city office? We should, just in case we get robbed. Someone comes in with a gun anyway. And it should be on 24/7. Not just when they're in the office, 24/7, that should be on. We need to hold these people accountable for what they're doing. This overspending, just because there's money in the checking account doesn't mean you spend it. Can anybody tell me where the extra $20,000 went this time?
If you look at the financial breakdown, it's not just this payroll. There are some payments on there from last payroll that hadn't had to be applied yet, so they rolled over to this meeting.
But $20,000, it says one payroll.
Okay, but if you look at the breakdown that's attached with the invoices, you'll see there's some items that says ×2 because it's for 2 different payrolls.
And we're getting paid double time and a half when we're working?
If
And for you?
it matters, which I know it won't, I would rather be home with my family, but who's?
Was your sure not, I mean,
Who did the appeals work for the appeals audit?
don't worry, we've gotten that, we're going after that again
Who's
too.
doing all this stuff with the auditors?
Huh? They're working on it.
Who has to get it for them? I'm not.
I don't
here
know.
messing around.
You tell
I'd
me.
rather be home.
You haven't got the stuff for the people that are suing the city of Mitchellville. You haven't gotten that information yet?
Everything that any legal attorney-
Anyway, that's behind the point. That's besides the point. I just want to know where all this extra money is going to. And people need to be held accountable for the money. Mr. Mayor, do you have anything to say about that?
I am looking into the same situations myself, and I forward them on to the appropriate people. That's all I can say.
And we got issues with the weeds in this town too. How tall they are and how the yards are not being kept up. I guess I got to file a written complaint on that, on every single household. And the big one is over there on 6th Street Northeast, which is Kimberly's, about 40 acres. If that ever caught on fire, it's going to burn all those new homes down over there. And those are nuisance weeds over there. So I will file a written complaint with that again.
Elaine, as I told you in an email, make sure you file a written complaint, get it stamped, and get a copy.
But yep, I will do that.
And on that note, I have reached out to Kimberly. They are working on a solution and writing it up to come back to the city.
Okay,
So
because
we can address
Jason
it.
said, well, I read the code and it doesn't say they have to mow the whole thing. Well, before you guys got here, they mowed it. And Steve Zook and Dean Brand knows they mowed it.
It's almost into it.
And we got issues with the swimming pools with no fences around them too. So that is it.
Let's move forward. Anybody else?
Don Berkey, 113 2nd Street Northwest here in Mitchellville. Later on in the agenda, there's going to be some conversation about, as near as I can tell, raising the public employees' pay rate. And that will probably reflect even more so in the monthly payroll. But I'll be a little more blunt. I think it's just payola. Same way with Jacoby's overtime. This idea of working 2, 3, and 4 hours extra a day is a joke. If she can't do her job in 8 hours, it's the council's responsibility to get somebody who can. But we all know that it's one big clique, one game. So all I'm basically talking with are the people online, and they need to take a look at their council. Also, divide the 73,000 by our number of employees. Divide the Bondurant monthly payroll by their number of employees. You won't do it. It's not part of the payola.
My name is Alar Collars. I actually live at 606 Neely. I don't know if it's line item 18, so I don't know if I'm speaking out of turn right now, or do I wait until that
You're
gets
fine,
brought
you're
up?
fine.
Okay. So one, thank you for getting it all cleaned up. I did speak to a couple people on the phone as it was being done. For the last 2 years, my wife and I have been maintaining that land. When we purchased that property, about 3 or 4 months in, we knew that it was city property from when we purchased the house. However, about 3 or 4 months in, we'd actually gotten a letter saying that we were responsible for the easement of that property. And this was in 2024. We were responsible for the easement of that property. But it's city property. So that's not an easement, it's actually a city-owned property. So we still maintained the mowing of the mowable areas. And once a year, we'd go into the overgrown area and kind of weed it out and get rid of the stuff that we physically could. We proposed to Jacoby, or I proposed to Jacoby, on what the process would look like to acquire said land. So that way we can properly maintain it. I have sent pictures in relation to what we had planned to do with it. We did get drawings drawn up of having it properly mowed. We do have an estimate right now that there are 30 plus stumps still in the area from the weeds and stuff that were taken out, and we've already gotten estimates on what it would cost if we were to do it to have those removed for us. So just didn't know where we were on that and what was going to be required to just kind of take that land over. As time progresses, it's only going to cost the city to continue to maintain it. Whereas if we were to just assume it into our property lines, within our property, we then would be responsible for maintaining the land, maintaining the easement, so forth. So, but, thank you.
No, that's good. Anybody else? All right, we're gonna move on to number 5, presentation, discussion, and possible action regarding 2026-52 Polk County CDBG grant.
They did not come to the meeting, so it's just to discuss
The presentation.
the presentation.
Well, from what I understand, we have to at least, our first submittal has to be by tomorrow, and then second submittal has to be between. The problem is that if we don't apply for this now, there's no application again for 4 or 5 years, is I think what Jill told me.
Where's
So-
the resolution? I'm sorry for interrupting. I see the number, but I don't see it attached to the packet.
Solid point.
I see it in the agenda, but it's not inside the packet.
I was told in an email that Mayor Johnson would provide it for the meeting.
No, I sent it off to YouTube to have contact. I think she wanted contact with 2 other people in the city hall to, I said Morgan one and Jacoby, that's who you talked with.
I have an email from you right here. I will have a final resolution for this program by the next meeting, but I want it on the agenda. So I left it up to you.
And I said that it would be sent to Morgan one, they'd be in contact with Morgan one. They were not in contact with you?
I spoke with Jill, but I was told
Okay.
that you were going to have the resolution ready.
They didn't send it to me.
They don't
We
send a
have-
resolution, you write it.
Yep.
Question. If we do this, we're not eligible for state.
If we sign up for this program with the county, we are not eligible for any state CDBG funding for the entire time, so for that entire 3-year period.
How much was the grant supposed to be for?
Up to 100.
Yeah.
Up to 100, but mostly like $10,000 a year.
They're usually like 10 to
So the
15.
last time we did when we started doing the water project, were you there yet when we got the state or federal CDBG grant?
Yeah,
It was.
at least one.
It was,
I think.
somewhere $400,000, $500,000. We wouldn't be eligible for any of that money.
That's kind of what I was thinking. Same. I couldn't remember what the number was, but I knew it was a lot more than the 10.
They were specifically saying nothing more than $10,000 a year.
This paper says 100. 25 to 100. What I read. Ranges from 15 to 100. On the email.
Well, even if we could get $100,000 grant, I think our chances of getting, a federal grant for more, because we're looking at down the road to do, another water project, that, we'd be better off bypassing this than applying for it.
Kind of, yeah.
Not that we couldn't
It's a tough
use the money,
call,
but if
because
we,
getting
if,
this grant is, a lot easier to get, but it's also, you'd have to get 30 years of these grants in a row to make up for it.
We're leaving a lot of money on the table.
You want to have 300 and then some. I think when we did the state or federal one, the first year we applied for it, we did not get it. Second year we did it, we did get it. Probably been close to 10 years now, right?
I imagine it's probably close.
Yeah, so we should be due for get it again. I would think.
That'd be kind of my thought, but
All right, so you guys are opposed to the Polk County grant, is what you're
Well,
supposedly
close
linked
to
to.
it, I'd like both.
Right?
But,
If you apply
300,000
for,
versus 10,000. I mean, don't you think that's a good idea?
sure, as long as we're in line to, make sure we apply for the 300,000 in time.
well, it's just that a state or federal grant is probably going to be more than the county grant is going to be,
Correct.
regardless of what the amount is. I guess that's what we're looking at, not that it'll be a specific dollar amount, but,
Whatever you guys think. We can move on to the next item, number 6. Municipal supply, new meter program opportunity.
You can set these up here.
Okay. Yeah, just set those up there.
position that maybe right there.
No.
Jerry, you know how, don't you?
There we go.
Oh, then we have to turn that
Then
on.
you have to turn it on.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
It's easy.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, I see them. Like the orange. Oh, yeah, there you go.
I need a better hearing.
Yeah.
Who got the button? you. It's, no, it's running.
Oh, okay.
I can hear it.
All right, perfect. All right, let's go.
She went to get a remote.
Is it? Duplicate. Here it comes. Okay. All right, I'll press.
Yeah, I've never seen that in years and years. $644.
Yeah, that's fine. Apologize for that.
No worries, it's probably yours.
Oh, no. Thank you, though. Alright. We're good at low tech. Yeah, we'll go. Press. Perfect. Then I will hand out, I have 2 copies of the. Did I give you 2 there? You sorry. Alright. Oh. Alright, let me just pull it up on my laptop. Alright, before we start, thank you guys for having us. I'm Justin Wyckoff. I'm the meter specialist with Municipal Supply. Behind me, I have Paul from Deal, Rich Gardner, and together we have a package, I guess you could say. It's a cheap starter kit. It's if you guys look at the line items there, it includes basically the AMR software, everything, billing integration. You guys get 50 smart points, which I know you guys are census here, but it's the MXU smart points that are included in there. You guys get the first year and second year support for free, and then with it's an AMI kit. And so you guys here are mainly touch read and a little bit of drive-by AMR. So this is all cellular. It comes from a gateway, and we can dive into that a little bit deeper. But
So there's no driving, no nothing. It gives you reads every 15 minutes. It'll send up to you and everything. And it's just a more efficient way of how to run a metering system. So all that included, if you can see in there, the sheets that I gave you, and mayor and city clerk, I give you guys 2 special sheets, and you guys can pass that around. It's a comparison next to census and what they charge for OCO in 2024. That's one of the more complete quotes that I can compare to. And I mean, if you can compare the prices, it's way cheaper than census, as you can see. So, Rich, I guess if you want to come up and talk.
Unfortunately, you can't see the spreadsheet electronically that we're looking at here, but I want to kind of talk to really what it's all about. 2 years ago, you were looking at what your water loss is within the system. And so you've undergone already a certain amount of water mains replacements. Why are you doing that? Because the old pipe's porous. It has a tendency to do what's called frost heave. Typically, this is in the winter and moving into the spring. So when temperature changes, underground water systems tend to shift, which causes mains to break. So you see water loss that way. That's water loss type 1. That's through the mains water transmission. Type 2 is in the service lines. Largely, you have service lines of 3 different varieties that are here. I know that you're undergoing this right now, and you've been doing this for 2 years, kind of looking to see exactly what from the water main, the pipe that goes to each residence and business. So 3 types are lead, is an initiative nationwide, actually, internationally, to get lead out. 2 is galvanized, and 3 is copper. So all the new houses that have gone in, all the new residential homes that are being built, they would have that new type, and they also have the new type of water main being installed. So what our proposal today is a refresh on where you're at 2 years ago, looking at what your water loss was, so system-wide. And I don't know what your annual revenue is just from water and sewage, but this is something that you can look back and the city clerk can find for us to discuss. But annually, you report to the state what the water loss level is within the utility. It's really, really difficult when you're reading system with these 2 devices. It's what we call manual. It's very old school, but it's literally something from the 1960s. We call it touch read. So a meter reader, any of the water utility employees, they go out literally in the middle of winter, got to cut through the homeowner's property, inside the backyard, inside of a fence sometimes, over a snowbank, whatever that might be. They make physical contact with this device to a device on the outside of the house. It's called a touch pad. So the physical touch happens. The data is read here. You get a real-time meter reading of right now what's going on in that basement. And this device allows you to transmit the information into a little tablet. But again, collectively, these are no longer, right, I have to back up. The other component that's missing is the water meters that you have. So water loss within a utility, 3 types, right? It could be through the service lines, it could be through the main lines themselves, or on the homeowner side, through the water meter. Water meters you have are on average, and you have been replacing over the last couple of years, since actually just before COVID, your initiative was you wanted to upgrade. I heard somebody speak about water meters coming into this. Eventually it will happen to all households. But the utilities, this is a fiscal responsibility of the city, but of the utility, is maintain the system. Starts with what we bill the clients. What we want to do is bill them all accurately. All the new homes have accurate meters, they're measuring properly. The older meters, with time, the mechanical ones, they decline in accuracy. And they're not capable of measuring the lowest load flow. What is that? It's a toilet leak. It's things that are minuscule leaks. Those are things that add to your water loss. And actually, you have what's called hard water here. And the water is coming up from wells. So there's iron and other particulate matter that's in it that wears out meters faster. This is a national average, but for well water type meters, in year 70 or 12, cities typically begin changing out their water meters to replenish the old ones with the new ones, to bring back the accuracy. So here comes your baseline. For replacing water mains, typically you replace the water meters too. Which comes first? Well, every city's different. You kind of got to understand how old your mains are. If you're a brand new suburb like Ankeny to the north side, well, largely they're new, right? So they have all these new mains and new meters. So their water loss is not what yours is. Annually, and this is just, again, water reporting, this is what you do. somewhere around 20% water loss. On pause with that. Water loss. So what you're billing for versus what you're pumping, you're losing revenue. What's your annual revenue and how much can we recover by putting in the new style water meters and replacing all the old 20 to 25-year-old on average SR2 and SR1? I think that we looked at with the city, this is over the last 2 years, looking at current information and where you're at in your change out. Largely, what are you trying to replace? The oldest ones. This is where your revenue is going to come from. So this proposal is what is called a startup package, starter kit. You have two different columns on the spreadsheet item that shows what is the old type of a fixed network. And again, I'm sorry that everybody can't see this. We will absolutely come back to this. But if you've got this spreadsheet, this is the old column, this is the new. We got a special incentive offer. Here's the second one of these right here. Here, I'm going to show you this too. This is basically 2 years ago, this column. These are the line items. And what we've got is an incentive offer right now in the system. So I want to talk to you about it, and the math we can come back to when we're finished, but I want you to understand the technology. Right now, real time, you climb over whatever the obstacles, you take a read, you get it, you post it back into for the billing clerk to look at, understand whether it's an accurate read or not. All they have is a real-time reading. The reading might be from a dead meter, so these meters die over time too. They stall, they get stuck. Talk to your water operators, but this is a national thing. It's no different. You have mechanical stop. If debris gets in, when does that happen? Largely, it's when water lines break. All kinds of debris is released through that. And so a certain percentage will be even more inaccurate. But replacement, product that you'll be putting in, solid state, no moving parts. It's completely accurate. It's actually guaranteed to be accurate within its accuracy envelope. It sees lower low flow, so the measurement of the toilets, and over the life of the product, it's got a battery in it. Unlike the mechanical meters, they begin to wear out again every 7 to 12 years, cycle change out. These have a battery in it. Digitally, they're doing a whole lot more. And so when we talk about water loss, how does that occur? A lot of ways. But on the household side of it alone, if your old meters can't see it, because on the low flow, there's not enough energy to get through to make things work. If this is occurring, then you're not billing for that water. These will see the absolute tiniest drip of water. I promise you this is true, and they will sustain an accuracy in the life of the product. So the life of the product is usually between 16 and 20 years. It's literally got a 20-year warranty on the product, 10 plus 10 on the proration. But under the cycle, you will immediately see revenue increase, probably from every single house. But what we're after here is again, a baseline. Everybody paying their own fair share with accurate meters. Digital meters do more than give you a meter reading. So if there's an error event, this is an evasive, remember. When we go to replace them, you pull this meter out, at that particular point in time, there's an error event. That's a notification back to the city that that's occurred. There's a leak detection event. So if the homeowners, all of us, if we have a leak at home, this can largely inform us that there is an event, a toilet flapper stuck or whatever. We're not looking for them. We're absolutely not doing anything. And Paul will show you in a moment if we can get connectivity, but we'll try one more laptop to see if this will work. If it does, then you can actually see the software in action. It takes hourly data every single hour and transmits it. So how's that done? It's not old school touching on the side of the house. We're going to put in these meters, and there's a transmitter device that all your new houses, you have these. So it's very, very similar. This one's set to transmit not to a mobile drive by a person in a vehicle driving, to the water tower, south and east of here, right diagonally across this intersection is the water tower. On the top of it, there's a handrail. On the top of that, what we're proposing through this, and this is what you've asked for 2 years ago, but we refreshed it. The timing's pretty good because we got an incentive offer between now and the end of the year. This is also a receiver unit. So like your mobile drive-by that you're on the new houses that are in town that are receiving that transmitted data, this now mounts to handrail top. It's got 2 antennas. There's one more that's about as tall as I am. It's called an omnidirectional read. It can read, typically, ranges up to 2 miles. Typically. Further than that if you're relatively flat. Guess what? We're flat, which is really good. Bodes really well for our city propagation, literally within even the new areas of expansion within the city. As you now come further south, so I'm pointing, but this is literally where the water tower is. This is where we're sitting right now, right across the intersection. That 120-foot elevation with that mounted, every meter that you upgrade, every single meter that you upgrade, part of this proposal, transmitted data will come in real time. So you'll see leaks. There's all kinds of additional information that comes at you, including temperature drop. And it's under a descending because when houses sometimes are vacant, they're for sale. We don't know why, but we're in summer months now. We got the AC on. We don't think about turning the furnace on. So when those houses are under this, I'll call it a sensitive time, literally temperature's low, descending, water mains break. A whole lot of things happen that you don't see frequently. But when it happens, it's like, oh my gosh, and how much did we lose under that? Then there's the homeowner. How much did they pay for not being there? This sends alarm notification. It also has, so we all have cell phones. We don't. If we do, there's available what we call a consumer portal. So the homeowner can see from work or from vacation home in Florida, oh my gosh, my next door neighbor. So this data comes in. But from this collector point, I can receive far beyond the furthest southernmost, which is really coming down this highway. I think that we've got a gas station, we've got about 5 houses, we have some farmers. You expand a little further to the west and a little bit west and east, your footprint's bigger. But we see a radius out into here. So largely, as you incorporate in the future, year, 3, 5 years, and you're growing, and it will happen, you can just bring in by putting in a new water meter and transmitter, and the data will just synchronize and come in. On that note, again, at the bottom line of the sheet that all of you have, that includes 50 water meters. Why do we select 50? In our case quantities, we're at 25. We don't know what the city's got a budget for. Literally, we don't think you have a budget. How do you not react to water loss? And billable. So if you're going to now pick back up, on average, it's between 7 and 12% of your revenue. That, if you look at, is worth financing. It's great if you can find a grant. If you can apply for them and you can actually find it, oh my gosh, but the dollar value right now, what it used to be, so the grand total, including 50 of those transmitters and 50 of the water meters, is less than what it used to cost 2 years ago just for the gateway. And it includes the gateway, plus the radio read system, plus the software, plus the training. And this is what Paul hopes to show you in a moment so you can actually see it live. You'll see another utility with the leak alarms and notifications that makes you smile when you actually, customer calls and they're upset. Why is my water bill so high? You literally just watch, and then all of a sudden, if there is a swimming pool being filled and it drops, you know. I mean, so if there's a high water bill, nobody's looking. But when you say, okay, where are you at? Paul will show you this quickly. Search the account by address or by customer name, and a billing clerk can actually see it and have information to tell it. On that note, I mean, I'm going to pass the baton, we hope, and show you the software. And we're absolutely available to answer any questions you have right now, but what we wanted to get before you is we were told we have a new city board, we have a new city manager, we have new administration. Let's wait until everybody's in place to bring it up again so that we can think about it. That's where we're at today. And just timing is good because, you know, it's really kind of good. On that note, this is Paul, and he's going to tell you a little bit more.
Yeah, I wish the projector was working, so I'm going to show you my laptop. I can walk around if you don't mind, show you what the billing clerk would see on the portal. This is a Demo City map that shows all the meter locations. There's really a couple of menu items in here. I'm not going to go through each one of them, but in the map you can geofence accounts to send notifications. You can view what work orders are open. You can click on each customer to analyze the usage, and if any questions arise as far as high usage or leakage or anything like that, those are very quickly answered. We also have a consumer portal, as mentioned earlier, that each resident can log into their own account and view usage and maybe avoid making that phone call where they can see that themselves. I want to show you one with a leaking account and see what the graphs really look like. My hotspot here is not working well. But as Justin mentioned earlier, we have on-demand reads, hourly reads. If you look closely at the bottom, you can see the high usage here. And if I hover my mouse over those small bar graphs, you can see that that account is leaking, X amount of gallons per hour. I can't see what it says right now, but there at the bottom it says it consumes 3 gallons in that hour. So that is very easily identified and alerted, and alert the resident that there's a potential water leak. There's tamper alerts, there's, very important is freeze alerts. So if nobody's home and the temperature drops, it might not be the case here. We see that in, pit installations, where the meter is outside. And that freeze alert is very important, to alert the, resident of, potential risk. That's it in a nutshell. Again, this is a very powerful portal. It's very intuitive. It's very few menu items here for specifically the billing clerks who can identify the usages, answer questions, and export the reads into the billing system for active billing. Thank you.
There's not a real way to close what we've done. We appreciate your time. We wanted you to kind of look at that. We want to get the prices in front of you again as a refresh. And let you know, we have till now until the end of the year, so no rush, but we are always available. And literally, this is a made in America product. It's made across the state line in Illinois instead of in Iowa, but you don't see that. This is something that's very, very, very large. Actually, it's literally the world's largest meter manufacturer. It's something with integrity for a long, long time. It's something that you guys know is water revenue. And it's the water revenue that's important to sustain all of public works. I think it's part of what your baseline is. We're here to answer any questions you might have, but we also recognize your time's of value.
This is a completely RFI product. It's all radio frequency.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
So the way it's working again is there's a transmitter attached to the meter, and once an hour it takes a reading and is looking for any kind of anomaly that's going on under the system, and it transmits it in. It's collected by the software. It's all hosted right there near your billing software. Literally, it's just a common user interface that we'd like to actually connect to the billing software. It's what we do. It's what we've already done one time, and we're ready to do it again if you decide to refresh. It's just you need more input fields to see the leak detection information you saw, the additional information. And then as an add-on, if you want it, and most cities do, but they want to get it up and operational first, is the consumer portal. Oftentimes they purchase at the exact same time, but we can't know what your deployment schedule might look like. It will literally be under your timeline when you want to do it, how you want to proceed. But can we answer any questions today? And again, we appreciate all of your being here and taking your time, because all of what we do is important to the community.
You said these are battery driven.
Correct.
So what's the battery life for? Are we going to have a battery issue? I'm assuming not, but I guess I just like to understand the quote unquote mechanics.
Very good question. So literally that type of meter has been available for 30 years. It's the standard in America now. You've got something that's literally was 1900s. It was discontinued by the manufacturer in 2004. So the meters that you've got largely are over 20 years old. That's what we're talking about here. That is what's become the standard. The benchmark is 20 years of battery life. We expect it to last 20. We see some lasting a little bit more, but again, it's a battery. There's other things that when you ask it for information, you're using a little bit more of the battery life, so it won't be exact. But we see it's a cycle of change out that all utilities typically do. If you've got hard water, it's usually about 10 years for a 10% per year replacement, or wholesale all at once. And then you have to manage this, because in year 18, you will begin to see these battery failures on some, 19, 20. So the budget's important. And what we also recommend is, and this is coaching, but this is also just Google it and read about it, rate structure increase, even by $1 per account, $1 per account for meter replacement. We don't know literally what your situation is and where you've got this, but historically that's a normal. And so you can pay for the meter change out over time. It's in the budget, as long as it doesn't get used for anything else. On that note, more questions?
So currently, the new meters we're putting in, those also have a battery. But my house, I haven't tested.
So the new ones are flat accurate. The old ones are very erasure.
Are you able to email me the presentation and I can get it to everybody?
Yes,
Okay, perfect.
thank you. So the part that we want to demonstrate is live software. It's another utility here. And we would like to actually show you that too at some point when you're ready for it. Because, oh my gosh, it'll make everybody smile, especially the homeowners.
Last question, your, annual licensing, how much does that normally go up per year?
3%. I think that you'll see an adjusted scale, and that's one spreadsheet that two of you have. It used to say
And that's
more
based on how
CPI, but
many
the
meters
CPI
you
has
have.
spiked lately. Sorry, go ahead.
That's, there's also another annual fee on there.
Oh, right. So let's assume that
Just a
you,
disclaimer, I work at municipal supply, so I will not be voting on it.
can I say what you just said? I know this is new for a lot of you guys, I mean, all of
Census
you.
does the same.
So the software is scalable. You have currently roughly 720, I think it's two more than that, but plus or minus meters that are out there. Now, those meters fit within a tier structure. So 1 to 100, 1 to 500, and above it, it gradually scales up. So in year 1 and year 2, what you see before you, I think we calculated on the whole 720. So there's no surprises on that. But if you have a much higher as you grow in the future, and you get over, what's the next tier that you use up? Oh, 5,000. How many? 5,000. So if you get to 5,000 accounts out here, it might be another decade, but you might, right? Then you'll see that next plateau. So that should be pretty much good. The schedule that you see under the spreadsheet, that one to your, yes. The column she's talking about is down below the service agreement, the software support. And we call it software as a service.
So, Jacoby, did you put this in there? Or the sheet?
Reference. What is, yeah. Reference, like what we paid now. We didn't know we were gonna have a
Perfect.
graph breakdown.
Okay, that's perfect. Because then it makes it yours and you get it real time. And
We're
you'll scale
paying
to.
$350 for 1 unit.
Yeah.
And what is your cost?
285. What's that?
285?
Yes, on that spread, yeah.
284. Around that.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that are different, and we're not in the business of doing anything except for education. It's important that you understand net. This is bronze body and stainless. This is 316 stainless. There is a net difference versus polymer. It's not made in America, but that's not for me to say anything further. I apologize for that statement. Any further questions and anything we can do? I know at this point, you guys have a lot to think about and to discuss. But we're here and we'll absolutely stick around and beyond this. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Steve, you work for municipal supply?
I work for municipal supply.
What is your take on it? I mean, I know you can't, I mean, any future vote on it, but what is your take on the whole thing is what I'm asking.
My take is, if you vote against it,
Not gonna hurt my feelings, I don't make commission.
No, I'm not talking about money wise. I mean, like the whole system. I mean, it was,
Well, one salesman who just retired from municipal a year ago, he called census senseless. So, it's fairly new meter in the United States.
Right.
I think they have like, San Antonio, Texas, is that correct? I mean, there are some large cities using it. The life cycle of a census meter, or even if we went to a Neptune meter versus a meter, they're all basically 20-year warranties. This has no movable parts. That big meter that was sitting in front of you, that would be the one that would go in George's cattle lot. No way that thing's gonna leak. It's a solid piece of pipe,
right, stainless steel.
unless it froze.
Even that, but pretty
It's
possible.
it's higher technology. What do you call it, ultrasonic or? So,
All right. Makes your honest opinion. I like that. Anybody else got a discussion about it?
Oh, right now, anyway.
Okay.
there was one thing, I think, if the meter does not read from the tower, it comes with the drive-by unit as well, correct?
Not with this,
Not with the startup pack,
No.
but the drive-up unit is still what price difference between what we're using now?
Price differential between a.
Because that little handheld, the little gray one he had that
Oh,
we're using
it's-
now, that's what, $1,200, $1,000, somewhere in that range?
So it's $11,000 for the touch, touch read and everything. Our AMR drive-by unit is.
And people can opt out of the whole RFI thing if they want to, choose to. I mean, there are people that have shown concerns to me about being on an RFI problem or issue, so I don't want to be included in that. So, I mean, does that pose an issue for us in the future? They don't want to be radio frequency. I mean, is it all in or all out or?
Can I make a comment?
Yeah.
Sorry, you're asking something that's kind of unique. In fact, here's question, there's a very valid concern. Transmitters, baby monitors, they bark off at a half a watt of power, same frequency, 900, and it's literally in the bed next to the home. So the homeowner thinking about this is a quarter of a watt power, less power, same frequency, and it's not mounted anywhere near the baby. It's usually mounted in the ceiling joist in the basement or crawl space on the outside edge where the water meter goes through. So it's right next to the water meter. It can be mounted on the outside or the inside. And so from an RF perspective, this is the national standard. So we talked about systems. This is the world's largest meter company. This meter is so proven it's not funny. That system we were talking about, San Antonio, we deployed 6 years ago. From a quality perspective, this is quality. Pick up the phone and look for references, but over 600,000 of them. No, there's not any issues with the product, with the service and the warranty. 30 years experience, we kind of know how they're going to last. The RF, as to whether or not it's a good idea, you have touch read right now, and it's not available anymore. So how do you read the meters? It's literally a knock on the door and go down and get the meter reading versus. That's the new, for the last almost 15 years, standard. Am I incorrect on that at all? No, it is the norm.
Well, I guess my big question is that, I don't think we're worried about the city losing money on water. It's, our big complaint is residents being overcharged for water. So I don't think we're losing anything right now. Any other discussion on, number 7?
I think some forces to look at and start to analyze now that I kind of understand what, what came in our packet.
Right.
And so forth, and something we do need to come back to, because, as we move forward with water meter replacement and thus and so forth, we're gonna have to go some direction. And the old style system where we're walking the city isn't, it's a two-person project for at least a day and a half, and you're hoofing at a day and a half.
So 2 people a day and a half to touch trees.
Because it takes one person or there's one person watching the iPad or the whatever in the vehicle they're in, make sure that it does read. And then the person that's actually carrying the gun, walking to the houses and putting it on the button.
Well, you say gun, but complaints I've had is the gun they probably need to carry. I mean, the concern is, the big concern is everybody's house is different. There's dogs, Matt Hammond has told me about, dogs almost chewing off his face, that sort of thing. So those are the things I would like to avoid in the future.
Safer. Guidelines.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
And it's people's great. Most people's dogs are pretty good here in town. There's a very small handful that I know of last summer when I helped read meters that Craig knew which houses had the really unhappy dogs, and so he was able to deal with those. A lot of the dogs just want more attention.
Say the least. All right, we have a long way to go. Let's go on to number 8. ISG presentation, overall updates and plans for the next rehabilitation steps.
All right.
Hi, Tom.
Good evening. Tom Atkinson with ISG. Appreciate the time today. You guys have a memo with something like this. So reason for some of that is to give a little bit of an update. It's been a while since I've been here, letting you know that there's a lot that's been happening. There's a lot in the works and a lot going on. So worked through wells 1 through 3 have all been rehabbed by Northway. Those have been rehab the actual well, make sure we got good water that comes out of them. We've got valves to make sure they function. We've got sample taps for all of those, so those are all good to go. Next step will be going through wells 4 and 5. So those are the other 2 that are out there. We're holding off on doing that until we get some water plant replacement and rehab done. We've got plenty of water at this point out of wells 1 through 3. We know we've got some different challenges at 4 and 5, so we're holding off on those until later in the year, until we get the water plant back to where it needs to be. So water plant, a lot going on there. We just talked a ton about meters. One of the meters with the spinning prop in it wore out in the water plant. That was the one that told us how much water was coming in to be treated. So that one's been replaced. We've got a couple of big projects coming up. So USG got the contract for filter media replacement. That's supposed to kick off the week of the 3rd of August. So that's going to be that big step, getting the water plant rehab and getting that going. So kicking off the first week of August. We've been waiting for them to be able to procure that media and get the manpower together so they can get that project underway. Second one that was approved is getting the meters and the valves replaced on the finished water line and the backwash line. So those are 2 big projects that are going to be happening here in August. So waiting on that equipment to come in, long lead times on those meters and those valves. So those are supposed to be coming in probably in the next couple of weeks, and we'll know what that looks like as far as that replacement schedule as soon as that equipment's in-house. So a couple of those big ones coming out this summer. There's been a fair amount of work working with city staff and our staff trying to figure out, can we actually isolate the water plant from the system? The next thing I'm going to say is the key component of without having to shut off customers. So there's a lot of valves in the system to be able to isolate different areas to make sure that we can close things down. We've determined that we don't have all the necessary valves to be able to isolate the plant from the system side without shutting off neighborhoods. So that means we're back to the point of a conversation on a new valve outside the water plant. So there's been some discussion on some different ways to go about doing that. We were really kind of optimistic maybe we'd be able to turn a few other valves and save that money. But the fact that those valves require that we shut off customers, require somebody to go into confined space, it just doesn't work out well. So back to that concept of going to come back with a proposal for putting a valve outside the plant so that we can isolate the plant, use water from the tower, work on the plant, and still keep everybody with flowing water. So that'll be coming up in the near future. Jumping to the wastewater side of things. Oh, actually, before I get away from that, next one on the agenda is going to be another project at the water plant to clean out the detention tank. So that's something that's been on the docket for a while. We've got those things in place, so we'll talk about that one next. On the wastewater side, a week and a half or so ago, we did a little bit of smoke testing, televising, and cleaning in a portion of the collection system. That was with CIT sewer systems. They did some work there. We're waiting on their report to get their findings. Once we get that, we'll know, okay, what are some of the deficiencies? How do we prioritize those? What does that mean for work going forward? Jump to the wastewater plant. We've done some things earlier in the year with the disinfection system, the UV ultraviolet disinfection system. We've got some rehab of that will be coming up at the end of the year. So that equipment is expected to be on from March 15th to November 15th. It's generally making its way through the year. We're going to be looking at end of the year after that season's over, having that company come back and do some rehab on that. So that'll be an end of the year project. We've got another big project on the agenda for tonight, and that's actually cleaning out a lot of the trash that's in the wastewater system. So there's a screen on the front of the plant that's intended to keep a lot of the rags and screenings and trash out of the plant. For years that had been bypassed, failing, not operating efficiently. So we've got a lot of stuff that's in the wastewater tanks that's not supposed to be there. So we've got that big project to get that stuff cleaned out so we can actually operate the plant efficiently. Next one coming up for later this fall is actually cleaning out the solids that we expect to be in that process. We generate solids, we put them in a side tank, and occasionally that material needs to be pulled out and land applied. So we've got a proposal coming up for that one to happen later this fall when crops come out of the ground. So a couple of big pieces there. There's also going to be a future project for replacing that screen. So we've got all this trash in the system now because that screen wasn't functioning optimally. We've got some quotes that have come in for replacement of that screen. So that's one that'll be coming up in the near future as well. From a standpoint of making sure that we get things cleaned out in the system, I'm advocating to go ahead and get that project done ahead of getting that screen because we know that equipment's going to be some lead time. It's going to take some time to do that. We don't have good optimization and operational control right now. So we need to get that stuff cleaned out so we can operate the best we can moving forward. I know this weekend got a little wild. So to say the least, we ended up with a ton of rain here. I know some things got inundated, some things got flooded. Some of that comes back to what we had CIT in town looking for. Pipes go in the ground over time. Kind of, we talked about water mains. Sewers do the same thing. They crack, they leak. Over time, they start to take in water that we don't flush. It comes in outside into the pipes. We need to try and identify those bad areas so that we can fix them. We had flows go from normal low flows, like Jason said, we're running about 1,800 gallons a minute coming in. We saw flows as high as 7,000 gallons a minute coming into the wastewater plant this weekend. And we know that there was flooded streets. There's places where maybe not all that water was going where it should have been. So I want to make a note on that. Typically from a wastewater collection system perspective, we design stuff to take about a 2-inch rain in a 24-hour period. We got 13 inches in 48 hours. No system is designed to handle that amount of flow. So things got wild because the weather got wild. We're not going to design a system to take every inch of that. We don't have the budget for that. And it would sit dry for years upon years. So just understanding a little bit, yeah, I know things got really crazy. We probably had some things back up where they shouldn't go. We had some things get directed or not make it down the sewer the way they were intended to. Some of that's the nature of you design it for that 2-inch storm event. When we get big rain events, it's got to go somewhere, so it doesn't always go where it's supposed to. And those aren't hard numbers, but that kind of leads to some of what we saw this weekend. Brief note on guys ahead of me, that's water related. I know one of the big challenges we had when we were going through the viability assessment was how much water do we produce and how much water do we sell? What's the delta between the two? That was a hard number to come up with. Shouldn't be that difficult to come up with all the time on where's all of our water going, but it was a bit of a challenge. So smart meters is something that becomes really beneficial in answering some of those questions into the future. Seen lots of cool stories with meters like that where, you know, one of them was right at the point when somebody's water heater failed and started flooding their basement. The city's billing manager knew instantly. The water operator called the guy and said, hey, you've got something going on at home. And he found it before he had a big basement full of water. Also had a guy find out that his neighbor was stealing his water off his spigot to fill his pool. So he's like, I don't use that much water. But he was using that water and they could track it with a meter. So some cool technology, some stuff that's out there. Meter replacement's a part of a water operation program, and we're going to have to pick something at some point. So feel free to ask questions on those as well. But that's all I have to say on that piece of it in this topic. Anything, any questions for me on what we've got going on water or wastewater? Awesome.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'll step back for a minute.
We're just trying to get through it.
I'll go quick on these.
So the next one is number 9, discussion.
Thank you.
Is that what you're looking for?
Yeah, my glasses completely.
Do you want me to say it?
Yeah, knock yourself out.
Discussion.
Oh, thank you.
Oh,
Hey, maybe I can. Oh, boy, Lord.
can you see it now?
Yeah, I can. Oh, pretty too. 9, discussion, consideration, possible action regarding resolution 2026-53 approving agreement with USG to perform cleaning of the water treatment plant detention tank.
I'm a holdout on those two, so I gotta, if I could read what's in front of me. So clean out of the detention tank at the water plant. This is on the front end of the water plant where we are adding some things to oxidize the stuff that's in there. We want it to get heavy. We want it to settle out. So this is a wide spot in the process that we want things to settle out. Routine maintenance is cleaning this tank out. USG is usually our contractor for that activity. They've given us this quote and this proposal, $2,350. Same company that will be doing the media replacement at the water plant. This may be a different crew, but same company. Any questions for me or discussion on that one?
Make a motion to approve.
second.
Hold on, before we have that conversation, I just want to point out a couple of things. I just want you to know this about the contract. You know, we've had this discussion before about indemnification. The indemnification provision here doesn't call for attorney fees. It is bilateral. Both have to indemnify each other. So just so everybody goes in eyes wide open. The limitation of liability in USG is ultimately the amount paid in. And then you're agreeing to arbitration. So, just so you're aware of that. Go ahead. Thank you.
Is that something that can be amended?
It could be discussed with USG and whether they would, change their contract language.
How far back would that put the timeline for this work?
Depends on how long it takes to negotiate terms of that agreement. Yeah, that would be with them directly.
And again, depends on how flexible they are. I mean, this could be, you know, sort of boilerplate, take it or leave it, but I think the council.
But would it be worth discussing that with them before we move forward? Make sure that we're looking out for the best interest of us.
What would be the worst case?
Well, like we talked about, I think it was our last meeting, like indemnification, you know, that's kind of a big issue because if somebody gets hurt, you know, maybe paying the bodily injury is one thing, but paying the lawyer fees to get you there, then you in that meantime. I think that's why that one's important. And they may not have any flexibility on that cap, but I think the council ought to be aware that, you know, you're not suing them for all these kinds of legal theories. The best you get back is what you pay for. There's a cap in there. And arbitration means you're not taking them to court, but because you'd be agreeing to AAA arbitration, you're paying the AAA a fee on top plus the arbitrator's fee and cost to the AAA to administer the arbitration. And, you know, that's kind of a standard thing in some of these professional contracts. So, but I think at least I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't think this thing. And I could be ready to roll as soon as we can make contact.
Has it been in previous contracts?
This is my first rodeo on this one.
It appears to be their boilerplate language. I would assume it was in their previous contract for the media, but I don't know that for sure.
Has this kind of proved how soon are we going to be moving forward on?
I would say this would be one that's probably a few weeks to a month out anyway.
How soon for the DNR to be happy on?
This is a small piece in that.
Okay.
Yeah, the rest of it, the media replacement, that bigger portion of it is the bigger picture.
I would feel comfortable with this question.
Yeah, this one is more of a maintenance item. If it were to be pushed a few weeks or a month, would not be a critical aspect.
2 weeks. We're gonna have it sold in 2 weeks, no?
I'll rescind the motion.
So do I.
And I can reach out to Tom.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I need a motion to have that conversation.
Okay, make a motion.
No, I said I don't think I need,
You don't, okay.
I got the consensus. of the council.
We can coordinate that.
I'm still hearing the AC in
Remember, you gotta speak up.
Number 10, discussion and consideration.
Sorry.
Say,
No.
No.
and possible action
Not yet.
regarding 2026-54 written contract for wastewater plant tank cleanup.
Yeah, so, go ahead.
Sorry, Tom. I have to abstain from any discussion or voting on this item.
So we will be,
Number 11, right?
this will be
Yeah.
cleaning out the
I might need
tanks.
those glasses.
So this one is what I talked about, having a bunch of trash and garbage that is in some of those first tanks and have actually made it through some of the further tanks. So we got a quote a while back from Nutraject Systems to pump everything out of what they call the ISAM tanks. These would be the first tanks in the process, and haul that to Des Moines. So they would dispose of it by hauling it to Des Moines. So we've got some transportation costs, and then we've got a 13 cents a gallon fee for whatever they would take there. There's still a question in play whether they want that trash. So that's a question that may be a little bit of a concern, but that's what that one would look like, would be cleaning those tanks out, hauling it off to Des Moines for disposal. The second quote that we got is from CIT Sewer Solutions. A little bit different process there. So backing out the tanks, cleaning the material out of the tanks. The one proposal that is for rental equipment is actually for like a roll-off dumpster to dewater. So the material would go into a dumpster, the liquid would go back into the wastewater process, those solids would be retained and then ultimately disposed of at the landfill. So we would just be hauling the garbage and the trash, not all the water that goes with it. So a significantly smaller volume. What they have prepared for us here is essentially a daily quote. So mobilization, 1 day's worth of work. They've indicated that they expect that to be about a week's worth of work. So that 5,200 plus 150 is going to be, or plus 50, so $5,400 a day. So I came up with a number that's going to put us at $41,764.32 as that total for a week. Okay. So if it comes in a little bit less, they can do it faster than 5 days. It'll be a little bit less. If it takes them longer than that, it'll be that $5,400 a day additional for that to happen. So that number compared to what we had for Nutraject, that was right at about $100,000 plus our tipping fees. The fact that it would save us hauling the water, my recommendation would be to proceed with the CIT Sewer Solutions approach to clean the system out. They're also going to be cleaning out some of the piping. So some of the issues we've had with some of the pumps is because you get, half a t-shirt or a rag or a mop head or something that goes through a pipe. The pump doesn't like it. Now we've got a plugged pump. They're going to clean out some of that piping so that we can get those pumps repaired in place as well. So that comes in with that process. Questions on what we've got here in front of you?
What are the possibilities that CIT could go above Nutraject's analysis? I mean,
yeah, so we're at a week here, right? So that number I gave you is for a week, puts them at about half of what Nutraject would be. If that would go into multiple weeks, we would be higher.
what I'm saying is Nutraject the final price? Is that the full price, or
Yep.
would there be more?
The only adder to that would be the disposal fee, so the tipping fee for that 13 cents a gallon for everything that they would haul. So contents of the tank gets hauled off to Des Moines, 13 cents a gallon for that, but that $100,000 would be that hard bid.
So we're looking at a solid number as opposed to a number that can move up and down.
Correct.
I'd like to see, I would personally like to see a number from CIT that's more concrete.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Not something, not a variable that, I trust your opinion, but at the same time, that is.
Yeah, there's a bit of a variable in what are they going to identify beyond that front tank. So part of the difference between these two is Nutraject's is that ISAM tank. It's the first tank. Nutraject's is that first tank plus cleaning out and jetting the piping in the rest of the system. So there's a little bit of an additional component to that to clean out the pipes. But we can definitely
being more than Nutraject even quoted. I mean, if they find problems and everything else, I mean.
Yeah, and there's a possibility there we could halt that. If there's a component of we clean out this tank, if we see something further down the line, okay, we're not doing that. Okay, so we could do the front end and then not do something further down the line if that was what they started to get into. It's just one of those, they have that ability, whereas the Nutraject piece would just be sucking out the tank on the front end. So there's a little bit of an additional service that comes with the CIT component based on the equipment that they have, depending on how far that could go down the line.
There's a little more open window about what they charge.
There is, right. So it is a daily, they gave us this daily fee and told us that they expect that part to be a week. So,
Now, I've made my opinion. You guys got to make a decision on this, obviously. Yeah.
I guess my question would be that, if they came back and said, okay, for the sake of argument, we're gonna give you 6 days, period. We're still knocking it out in 5, and we're on the hook for 6 days rather than 5. No, I understand what you're saying. If it runs over because of whatever.
Right.
Stuff happens.
I just don't want to give them just an open-ended contract where they can just, oh, we found this problem, we found this problem, we found this problem, and it just keeps going.
Is there a way to have a max of some sort? So
Sure.
after a certain amount of time, it's just that max number is the last it goes. So if we can get it before then, it would be cheaper, obviously, but at a certain point, it doesn't keep going up. They still finish the project.
yeah, there's no reason it couldn't be.
Oh, it's up to you guys. I've stated my opinion. I mean, it's up to you guys from this point on.
You recommend CIT,
I do.
and you're nervous about the 5 day,
Yeah, I mean, it's just like
but if they, or said they only get 5 days to do it, and they find a problem, only one to fix that problem, even if it costs another day?
oh no, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that with one, you have a final price. I mean, that's one lump sum, you're done. The other one, it could be, you never know. I mean, it's up to you guys. Like I said, if you guys want to do CIT, that's completely up to you.
The CIT doesn't have that 13 cents a gallon, right?
What would be additional in there would be the tipping fees at the landfill. So whatever that trash that's collected is, would be disposed of at the landfill. So
Yeah.
there will be a charge for that disposal. But significantly lower amount because we just have that drier trash. We don't
Right.
have all that volume of water.
Right. So that 13 cents per gallon, how many gallons could that be? With Nutrien,
That tank is over 100,000 gallons.
over 100,000 gallons.
All right,
I make a motion to accept the CIT.
I'm gonna be second.
all in favor?
Aye.
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 All right,
All right, thank you.
number 11. Boy, not even halfway.
Now I can abstain.
Okay.
Thank you.
Discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding resolution 2026-55, entering an annual agreement with the electric pump for water treatment plant pumps and controls maintenance. Isn't this what our employees do? I mean, I'm not sure. I guess I don't follow. Doing the maintenance at our water and sewer plant. These two follow me, 11 and 12. Are these replacing the jobs of our employees or this in
I think he's asking who can speak to this resolution. Thanks, Tom.
Thanks, Tom. Why'd you sit down?
I haven't seen exactly what it is, but usually these contracts for maintenance are for the specific equipment that these suppliers provide. So the pumps, to be able to pull them out, to be able to check the electrical connections to make sure things are rotating or cleaned out correctly, flow meters, things like that, the controls and equipment that they install and supply. So it's usually a little more technical or sophisticated than most operators are typically going to be doing, especially with just having a couple of guys to do that.
Okay, all right. I was just curious.
Yeah.
Well, I guess, do we have a motion to, I don't know, contract?
Of the service agreement. Oh, I get all kind of.
I'll have to get that later. Oh, there it is. Okay. All right, the motion for 2026-055.
I move we approve the maintenance service for the water treatment.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Number 12, discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding resolution 2026-056, entering an annual agreement with electric pump for wastewater treatment. As you're abstaining from this one too?
Yes, I need
Okay.
to also abstain from this as well.
For wastewater treatment plant pumps and controls maintenance. Same thing, Tom?
Same thing on the wastewater side.
Okay. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'm signing copies. Oh my gosh. Number 13, discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding resolution 2026-057, increasing public works employees pay for Matt Hammond.
So moved.
Second.
Are you setting a pay or?
Because he passed his wastewater treatment 2, pay scale says when you pass that, it's $1 an hour.
Actually, the one from last year says we say we're between 32 and 40.
Now, the resolution just says 33, so.
Just received a copy of that today.
Matt here? Oh. Congratulations, Matt.
No, I received a copy of that.
The resolution says yes, $1 per hour for certification, but above it, the range says 32 to 40, so if council would like to approve more of a rate, they are allowed to.
Right.
Oh. I just read it as it's written, 32 to 33.
We can move it anywhere between 32 and 40.
It's $1 per hour per cert, right?
No, the resolution from 2024.
Previous resolution is what is the range. Yes, somebody of this cert could have 32 to 40. But it's a guaranteed increase of $1 per hour.
Right.
So the new resolution, yes, has the wording of $1 per hour, but if council would like to change that, they are allowed.
All I'm saying is, I mean, for the classification 1, we moved to the top of the window, so why wouldn't we do that for a classification 2?
Have $1
What
per
is your pay? That's $1.
Okay.
Make a motion, Dean.
Yes, I did.
I second.
Okay. God, sorry.
All in favor?
Aye.
Number 14, discussion, consideration, of possible action regarding resolution 058, request for cancellation of Iowa system connection. My understanding, we don't need this anymore because we have Cook County sheriffs.
I'd like to make a motion to cancel our agreement with Iowa System Connection.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Number 15, discussion, consideration, of possible action regarding 059, regarding town mosquito treatment. We received an email today about an alternate
I think
idea.
it's a terrible idea. to begin with.
I don't like the whole idea of spraying to begin with.
I don't either.
I have received feedback from several people in town that are very much against
Okay. Well, I know spraying is just not effective.
it. It's a waste of money.
Correct.
Yeah, it is a waste of money.
And that's why Pleasant Hill and Des Moines both stopped doing it last year.
I remember the Von Durant guy stopped out at our work a few years ago. He had a sprayer in the back of the pickup truck. It was the older guy, and he's retired. He was talking about it. He says they do it basically for peace of mind of their residents, but he admitted it.
I found a good, just a lawn spray for your own backyard does a really good job, to be honest.
Okay.
I wouldn't mind us taking a look at this whole BTI idea though. That
What
was
idea?
thrown at us. I haven't looked into the theory of it because I just saw that
Dragonflies
name.
and bats.
Huh?
Dragonflies and bats.
That's,
I reached out to a master gardener friend, they raised these, now they're just backyard hobbyists, if you will. And I could be on both sides of this at the same time. Although personally, I am not a mosquito magnet. So
You have to have,
me personally, but some people,
blood for it.
no, I couldn't. But I reached out to her, and usually they do spray in the evening when the bees are back in their hive. So that's the plus side to it. And then we've got the other side that, there could be some potential to influence the bee population, which is also important to most everything we do because of pollination. But yeah, I'm certainly, and I had people reached out to me on both sides of the issue. They like to spray in although we do spray in the park, Thomas Mitchell days. It can get ugly down there in Murray. But that's Thomas Mitchell basically. So I think looking at some of these alternatives as opposed to spraying is probably a better way to go, and then everybody kind of pick and choose if they, you know, water ponds in your backyard, their front yard, whatever, like.
Okay, we can need to vote on it.
Nope. No action. Number 16, discussion and consideration of possible action regarding the purchase of a slow down autistic child play replacement outside a residence home. But do we have an address? Or it doesn't really matter, but I mean, I have no problem with anything like that.
So in this particular location, there is a lot of traffic and it's hard for people to see the child. And in this particular situation, the child moves and runs a lot. So this tenant or person from town reached out to me about this, and it's something we've done before. We've actually done it for my son as well on center. So I believe it's good. It's for the safety of the children. Even if one person slows down, it's better than not. So I think it works.
Works for me.
So will, Public Works provide a sign? What?
We'll get one order if we decide to pass it.
Okay,
So V&K recommended 2 signs, one facing from the north, the other one facing from the south.
That would only make sense.
Yeah.
Well,
Two lane
I
highway.
only heard one sign, unless it's the east-west sign. Yeah, east-west.
Hey, you got 4 on here though. We're on day 4 on the invoice.
Number 7.
Were we putting them up somewhere else?
That one location.
This is an old invoice that I tracked down. from
Oh, okay.
The previous one.
Oh, it says 8/21/25 up in the top right
it's
corner.
for pricing for reference. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
He's helpful.
Thanks, Chad. I didn't catch that before.
Well, and
Okay, so
that might
we're gonna make a motion
actually.
for 2 signs.
Yes.
Make a motion for 2 signs.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Number 17, discussion of possible action regarding tree concerns.
There's a few trees that have been pointed out to City Hall and Public Works that the homeowners are very concerned about their health and them falling. And so it's just kind of like, okay, this was brought to us. How do you want to handle it? Do you want Public Works to schedule it, to have someone come out and look at them and decide how to proceed? Do you want court to take over?
Tree board.
Isn't that what the tree board
Yeah,
is
that's what the
supposed to
tree
do?
board's for, right?
Yes and no. Public Works can deal with it as well as tree care. I understand.
But we don't have a recommendation.
No, at this point, we do not have a recommendation from the tree board, and the maps that I sent you guys, I know they're really hard to look at.
Yeah.
Those are the ones from when the DNR came in and did their survey back in 2018. It would appear that these trees were marked at that time, but again, I don't know from when those maps were made, had all those trees that were deemed needed to come down already taken down. Like, I don't have a way to know because I don't have updated maps.
I'd rather doubt it.
When is the next tree board meeting?
I don't think they have one unless there's a reason.
Can this be a reason?
Yeah, I can email them and get them together and figure it out.
Yeah, it'd be nice to have a recommendation from them.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically where the trees are. Can't really tell from anything on here what the trees are. No, I get that, but I mean, you can't really see it on the property. Right?
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
There's more than that.
Okay, so you're gonna take it to 3 board?
All right, number 18, discussion of possible action regarding city-owned land area 606 Neely.
This is
Yeah.
what I was talking about earlier. So yeah, so step one, Public Works went out and cleaned up everything that they could get out of there to clean up the area. There are a bunch of stumps that for sure still need to be removed. Doesn't look that, it looks a lot nicer. It does look a lot nicer. I could not get your pictures to print, but he did show me some images that they were thinking if they were allowed to do something.
I have them on my phone, if you guys
Is
want to
this
see
the
them.
one when you're coming down Center,
When you go down 6th
all the
Street,
way to 6th?
on the corner of 6th and Neely.
6th and Ely?
Yep.
Okay.
So this was kind of the before. I have an aerial footage before. I can't really see it 100%, but all of this.
I'm sure everybody in Mitchellville has seen, at least myself out there cleaning it out as best
I don't
I
have an
can,
updated
so.
picture of what it was. This is what it was, not what it is now. But then we had some renderings drawn up as when it was previously there. So this is what we were looking at potentially doing with the property on our property, so. So it is gonna be a
Which
big
part is
overall.
the city property?
So city property on the, so city property, it's kind of hard to see. It's easier to actually see from the previous picture. Backyard, front yard. So city property technically starts right here at this, at the front pillars.
Okay.
It then cuts over roughly to about where you can see the grass change from grass to weeds. And then it cuts straight back. So in the current moment, when we pull up the plat map,
That's what shows the chunk
Yeah,
plan.
I see.
Yeah, it doesn't give it a good idea.
so when we show this plat map, this is the plat that the city owns. This is an actual plot. Right there. That's what we're asking to assume. So that way, one, we can then take over that land. So the city right now, as it sits, technically is the one who has to maintain it and so forth. We've been doing it for the last 2 years anyway, because we were told to. It was a thing posted on our door saying you're responsible for maintaining the easements. But yes, we are, but it would be correct. We're abutted to actual city land. We are not responsible. Thank you for all the work that you've already done. That was a fun little process getting through all that. But there's currently 30 plus stumps still on the property that need to be grinded out, removed. We'd hope that we've already got an estimate if we were to assume that land, what it would cost from us to do that as well. And then potentially till up the land and plant grass seed to start. But
Can you see that picture again? Because,
which one?
what, I don't know, why didn't you show me before? Because I'm looking at 606 Neely.
Yeah, so.
This is it right here, right?
Yep, this is our house here.
Okay.
So, and basically where you kind of see this grass change right here, this is kind of where city property starts.
Oh,
And
okay.
it cuts all the way through
So it would be
here.
the house to this side, the
Sorry.
driveway runs right
No worries.
Yep,
So
where all
then-
those trees were. Is that
Oh,
right?
no, it's-
And we've been doing that for the
So their
last 2
house
years, just it wasn't our property to cut anything
Where are
down.
all the stumps are in here?
Yep, so
It's a
I can
total
actually-
112, Jason measured, total
So,
square footage.
this is live video, but where is that side of the house? This is what it looks like now. And it's full of stumps.
Oh, they really built a new addition without doing all the work, didn't they?
So, this is technically city, well, a portion of this is city property. And we did our research in relation to why that was. I called Kimberly originally. Kimberly did say that the land was granted Originally, the land was owned by Kimberly, and it was granted back to the city. This is from my talks with one of their supervisors. It would have likely, or because had that land stayed a part of 606 Neely, then our driveway in front of the house would have to face 6th Street instead of Neely Street. And a part of the land development is all their buildings had to face Neely Street. So, which is why land was likely granted back to the city to abide by those terms. So it was granted to the city, and I believe I pulled up the records previously.
What were you gonna put there again?
So I'll show you.
Because my,
Yeah.
There needs to be a public hearing before that happens.
We were going to do something along those lines. This is previously before all of it was taken out.
right,
But to start, we'd like to at least get it tilled up and grass seed put down instead of just weeds growing. So.
do we know what utilities run underneath this section?
Under your plat, under the plat that the city owns, not a whole lot. But it's the ditch aspect of it, the easement aspect is where there's a lot of utilities that run through there.
I know where you're going.
That's what we're looking at doing. We can't do anything with this side of the property, going on. Sorry.
And historically, though, we don't have any other reasons why we came by this, like wider right of way on the street or instead of waiting condemnation down the road.
Is there any reason that the city would need access to that area to work or something?
Well, wouldn't easement still be granted since there are utility? I would think that that would be a given.
Right?
I mean, I haven't seen the abstract, tell you what's actually in it. But I think what I was prepared to tell you tonight is, if you wanna sell it back to them for $1 or whatever, we have to publish, have a hearing, for that whole trip. Or enter into some sort of easement agreement with them, this they basically, we know that in case we want to move from right away or something down the road, we have to give them an agreement and basically let them, if that's the council's desire, give them an easement, let them do whatever they want on the surface, but if there's utilities and stuff going through there, you can't build a building on it, you can't pay for it.
And that's where it's currently dedicated as non-buildable. You can't build any property on it. We don't expect that part to change.
And if we deed this to you, I bet you $5, the county's gonna make us do some sort of what they call lot tie.
Okay.
So you couldn't sell this back.
Okay. And that's where there's still the easement. There are currently utilities that do run under there. Metronet, it's above ground, so it's power poles above ground up until that corner. So that none of that's underground, but there's probably water lines. There's definitely Metronets underneath there, so forth. But that's all on the easement side of it, not the land that you actually own where all the trees were cut down. So we do actually plan on calling 811 here shortly to having other work potentially done, where they're going to need to know utilities and so forth anyway. So.
Because I drive by there every day, multiple times a day. They did a lot of work just to get all the trees out.
Yep.
And greatly.
It was 2 days of.
The traffic flow.
They did 2 days of hard
traffic
labor.
for you coming from the west. Now, if you're turning right way, it's not a big deal coming.
I have no issue getting rid of it, turning it into this proper property, going through the proper steps that we need to do it. I would assume it might increase your property value a little bit.
Total land value is 0.038 acres or 1,644 square feet.
Whatever we have to do it the right way.
I would agree.
But do it as a sale. Even if it's a block.
Yeah. Whatever.
Because it's got a house right next door to them, so not gonna be any road go through there.
Nope.
For a long time.
Oh, there's not enough room.
We need a motion for that, John, or? Yeah, why don't you make a motion, just because then that way she, once you get in kind of cycle, she can set up a hearing for.
I'll make a motion to, start the sale of that property for $1.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Number 19, discussion and action regarding 124 Center Street, or Center Avenue North, Waterville.
Yep, so this resident called in their bill, I mean, as you can see, it was higher than normal. We talked on the phone. The resident truly believes there's nothing leaking or anything. Anything going on their end, there's nothing going on the billing end. On the phone, at that time, they didn't necessarily choose to have Public Works come out willingly. So it's kind of at that point where I assured him, like, I can't do anything with your bill unless council approves it. I'd have to take it in front of council and whatever they decided, if they said, you know, Public Works would need to go out, or we would need to check for leaks, or however they wanted to proceed is how we would have to proceed.
Well, Public Works checks for leaks, it's just up to the meter, right? I mean, we bill a resident for anything past.
Well, if we looked inside, it would be to help the resident be able to identify, like, oh, okay, so that's what's leaking, that's what caused it.
Yeah, so we can look around, see if there's a faucet leaking, see if there's a stool leaking, and then we can also check our meter and make sure there's nothing leaking by it as well.
We still have those, toilet leak detectors in City Hall.
I think so, yeah.
Maybe they should start off with those.
Yeah.
Number 20, discussion and possible action on city electric bikes, scooters, et cetera, ordinances.
I think we've probably all seen enough traffic on Facebook and whatever, personal, whatever. So anyway, I just brought this for discussion tonight, if we want to go somewhere with it. It's just not electric scooters and or bicycles, it's just bicycles in general. I don't know. I guess we need to get parents to teach kids, what are the rules of the road? Be sure you stop at a stop sign. Because it just, I about hit 2 kids in the last week. I know there's a neighbor kid that, somebody about got coming out of the cemetery road the other day, but they didn't stop and get in the road.
Because it's fast.
No, 90% of the adults don't stop at stop signs at this time. So, I thought we
They're teaching bad habits.
right. Well, I thought I scream at my kids when they don't stop at stop signs. But I thought we were talking more about the business district. Because, I don't know, we changed it last year to where you can't ride your bicycle or your electric scooter or whatever on the sidewalk in the business district out here. You gotta drive in the street, but since these are slanted parking spots, I feel that's more dangerous. I feel like if you're gonna have, this is my personal opinion, if you have a bicycle, scooter, electric bicycle, scooter, anything that is gonna take you faster than 10 miles an hour outside your own pedals, anything with motor power, I think it should either be banned on these 3 blocks or you have to walk it on the sidewalk. That's my personal opinion. Telling them not to ride on the sidewalk, I think is a bad precedent because it's all slanted and we've all parked in these spots. You're backing out, you got a truck next to you, you can't see a darn thing. So you're gonna back into a kid that's going down the street on a scooter or something because he's banned from the sidewalk? I think that's a terrible idea. So I personally think on north of the railroad tracks to Third Street,
Third.
it should just be fully banned. Riding electric things, you gotta walk. I mean, there's plenty of ways around this town without having to go up Main or Center Avenue on an electric scooter. Or at least a certain age. There's an age limit.
The other thing with this is, in the business district, several of those doors open out.
Right,
And so
exactly.
they can't see them coming through. As I've had a couple of residents reach out to me about that.
You don't wanna walk out of the business and you ran over by an electric
No matter what your age.
bike. Especially our age.
Or especially a 6-year-old or a 5-year-old or a 10-year-old, whatever. I mean, it's just, but I mean, when they changed that last year, I thought it was a bad idea because then you're forcing them to ride down the street in a slanted parking spot where slanting parking spots you cannot see when you're backing out, no matter where you are.
Or they can get off and walk across.
Right. They can get off north of the railroad tracks. I mean, or you can just go around the business district. I mean, you're on an electric scooter or a bicycle, for crying out loud. You can just go around these 3 blocks. And it's not that, what is that, 2 blocks? 3 blocks. You can go around them. There's easy ways to go around them. I don't know. That's my opinion. I don't know what you guys think about it.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a good answer or an easy answer, but I just wanted to bring it up for discussion.
No, I
And see
get
if
it.
we figure out a better plan than,
Well, I know the officers you guys have been stopping and talking to kids that don't stop and everything else because I've heard stories.
Ours is more of an educational thing right now.
Right. So,
unfortunately, they can't be at every intersection
no,
at the same time.
no. I mean, as adults, we just have to be aware that, kids are kids. And, but I don't know what you guys think about the whole business district as far as the electric stuff. I mean, as far as kids go, there could be an age limit on it. I don't know what you guys think. I just think forcing kids with the electric bikes and scooters out into the street, that like they did last year, was just a terrible idea. With the slanted parking spots.
Well, even if you had parallel parking, you've got that blind spot, if
But at least you have a mirror on your left side, you can see somebody coming,
if you look at it.
Yeah. But, when you're slanted, you
Yes,
can't see
I
anything.
totally agree.
The only thing I was gonna add, it looked like from Channel 13, looked like it. Pardon the pun, draft off what they're doing,
And I think Newton just did something here a month ago-ish, kind of sort of.
Well, he's looking at it as well.
I mean, kids be kids. I mean, I don't want to rob kids of being kids. But I also want to protect everybody our businesses, the people that go to the businesses, and the kids. So, I mean, just keeping them out of business, we've got 3 blocks of business district. It's not that hard to go around those 3 blocks.
Especially when they've only got to go a block
Right.
off. Yes, we see what some of these other communities are doing,
Or if we get some community input on this one, I mean, anybody that watches the videos, everybody, I mean, talk to us. Let us know what you guys think about this whole electric bike, I mean, as far as the kids go, I mean, at least the adults are gonna act the same way as most of as their driving is. They're gonna be as bad as their driving is. But we can only,
So you've seen the cameras that we have on our house. I don't necessarily think it, and I'm over on Neely Street. I don't think it's necessarily I'm not privy to this area on how kids act in this area specifically. I do see it over in Neely and I see it on my cameras a lot of times. The kids don't follow road rules when they're driving on the roads. I have countless occurrences of camera footage of kids just avoiding all normal traffic regulations and traffic laws and doing whatever they want, almost getting hit by cars. Sadly. I would hate to see something happen to any of those kids, and that's where it's like, I don't think they should necessarily be on the roadways for that reason. But I would almost agree if they're on the sidewalks, pedestrian traffic is also a thing. So I don't know what a proper thing is, but I do see it elsewhere other than this area.
We don't have a lot of sidewalks, so. And they have only the roads to go on. But
To put a ban on just a couple blocks is not gonna work. The kids aren't gonna read the ordinances.
well, we're
It's gonna
expecting.
be a citywide thing. You're gonna ban them, period, or not.
God, I hate to do that. Wouldn't everybody hate that?
Well, I mean, I think that's where the other cities, you need to look at that, because
Yeah.
you can't just say, I'm gonna ban 3 blocks. We've got industrial property here too, that, there's semis driving up and down the roads. I mean, what are you gonna put signs up, that says no scooters? I mean, I just don't think it's gonna work. What does Altoona do? Do they have an ordinance?
Oh, I see kids ripping and roaring doing wheelies and
Oh, yeah.
hacks going
They've
down
got
the freaking
like-
sidewalks all day long.
They've got like 4-foot sidewalks on 8th Street, most of them with
Yeah.
grass. They've got some room.
Helmets and wheelies and going nuts down
But if
there.
they have an ordinance set in place, that'd be something to look at. Just to see. I mean, I know we piggyback off Altoona on a lot of things.
It was easy enough for us to check.
Yeah.
Maybe just keep watching what areas nearby.
Keep watching and
See what everybody else does too.
I think we're gonna get results from those communities pretty quickly here, because it's a hot topic.
Right. But I would suggest to all the adults in town, your due diligence of stopping and watching and looking. And I'm not talking about teaching your kids about anything, this or that. I mean, yeah, tell your kids to stop, watch and look. I had that discussion with my son the other day because my wife almost got clocked on. She got a green light, she almost got nailed had she not hesitated. So I asked my son if he hesitated, if he looked before he left it when he got a green light, and he said no. And I go, you need to. And so as adults, we have to, make sure we're doing our due diligence. When we come to a stop sign, stop, look, make sure that I can't even tell you how many times I wish there was a deputy here to watch all these people run the stop sign. So,
bigger community.
yeah. So, I mean, we have to do our job too, so. All right, number 21, discussion of possible action regarding Des Moines MPO surface transportation block grant participation. I guess we already discussed that a little bit, no?
No.
Okay.
This is one that's getting ready to open up, like, send it to everyone. Ask you to do some homework, see if it's something you guys want to go through and go ahead and apply for, if there's a reason to. There's something that we all agree, the council wants to submit for, basically.
Jason seen this?
No. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Well, I forgot him. Here, you want my copy to look at real quick?
Sorry.
I forgot Jason, sorry.
I did not think I knew that.
Evidently not. Could you give us the?
Can you explain the two different ones a little bit better? Because one of them is not even, they're different. They're not printed, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of hard to understand the difference between them two. Because the STVG provides the flexible funding that may be used by states and localities for transportation projects. And then the other one provides for like alternatives, like on and off-road pedestrian bicycle facilities, infrastructures. So it's as the straight up like easy version of what the difference is.
So one would be like sidewalks and the other one is roads.
That's how I understand it.
I just want to clarify that.
Yes, that is how I understand it, and I know when I had a meeting with the MPO, they said this would be something that, yes, that the city decided they wanted to do, sidewalks or something that we could submit a plan for and try to get approval for.
Is this a matching type thing, you know?
We didn't go into all those details.
Probably be a year out though anyway, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's one of those, they're just granted so much funding per year, and then the communities that are part of the MPO are eligible to submit for projects and get some of that funding. There's no guarantee you'll get it, but if you,
Right.
you definitely don't get anywhere if you don't submit for it, so.
Do we have any roads that weren't still waiting for the water main replacements that Jason is not planning on fixing this year?
And is this only for the roads alone, or will it cover fixing water mains?
It would only be for the roads.
Or sidewalks? I think I read something about
Yes,
safe path to school thing,
yeah,
right?
and like bicycle trails.
Okay. Can we make an electric bike trail?
Those are called roundabouts.
So yeah, it's just, and we have time. I just wanted to get in front of you guys to start thinking about it. Actually, this is for fiscal years 2030 to 31, so
Yeah.
it's ways out. So, I don't think it's not due till like August 17th, I think.
But you don't have to have everything
August
done
7th.
by August 7th, right?
Nope, we just have to have the first part done for August 7th, so we have time to keep thinking. Decide, finalize, maybe revisit the roadmap that Jason has. I know a lot of the bigger ones.
Public Works, I don't drive every road.
Yeah.
in town.
I know a lot of the ones
Every day.
Jason's talked about are ones that involve the pipes too, but, yeah, we can look at that. And I think they previously looked into sidewalks or something, to maybe dig up that info.
Yeah,
Revisit, I know the bike trails being mentioned a lot lately too.
The whole railroad track would be perfect. I walked the whole thing.
You know, in the past, when they had previously tried, at that point, it was not officially shut down yet, so I don't know if it has been or not.
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen any cars on it forever, but I walked the whole thing just to see what it was.
But it's still legally considered, at the time, it was still legally considered active.
That'd be great because it ties right into Altoona.
I know, because I also know Prairie City's working on the trail project.
Yeah, I think that's the one that I kind of heard about
Yep.
coming to Prairie City, because that is abandoned.
Yep.
I mean, normally you have to look for cars when you're running the stop sign on the west side of town. You didn't hear that from me, did you? Yeah, it's generally, I haven't seen a car on there in over a year.
Maybe work with Jason, see if there's a few
Yeah.
things, look up those old projects and you guys.
I would say
get
roads
fresh in
is
your
probably
mind.
would probably be the target market.
I wouldn't think they'd have to pull it up. Wouldn't you think they could just blacktop right over it? Make the bridge into a bridge and just blacktop right over that bad boy?
I don't know how they do that. I suspect
Leave the rails there and be really.
They
really
probably
great.
salvage all the rail.
Oh, that is a lot of steel, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Discussion of possible action regarding Rule 14 of the City of Mitchellville City Council Rules.
Well, we had some recurrent discussion about, Rule 14 says any subject for consideration of the meeting, or I'm sorry, any subject not necessarily tied to the agenda. I raised the issue before. I think there was a desire to raise the conversation again about just limiting comment to the agenda.
We have a freedom of speech. There's the First Amendment.
Time, place, and manner.
Yeah, you are.
I'm 100% right on that. There's
No.
all kinds of cities that have been losing in court because of.
Wait, are we talking about like the first area where we haven't?
I agree, I don't wanna take it away, but I'm pretty sure legally you're wrong.
I'm legally right. Do your research. You would be wrong.
We would take the second one away.
Take
So
the second one.
the first one is agenda
The first
item
one will
only.
stay. That's good enough. The any topic.
About the agenda.
No, the first one, so like number 4 on tonight's agenda,
Right.
would stay. And at least the discussion we've had before is, do you take away just the any topic one at the end?
That's my favorite one.
I don't want to remove it either.
Huh?
It's nice to get people to air it out every now and then.
You're getting plenty of air.
We've got it.
Well, I'm getting plenty of it. It's my favorite part.
And I kind of agree with you, Steve. It's been somewhat contentious the last several months when it comes to that part of the agenda. But there are sometimes, we have citizens that come, they've got, an activity they'd like to promote to us as the council and whoever's online. Looking at that, expression appreciation for an activity that went on, or work that was done by somebody in the city or a group or whatever. So now, as far as keeping it to 3 minutes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that might be a minute too
To
long.
be honest, the people coming up on item 4, agenda items only, they're stretching the meaning of the agenda item. So you could put 3 minutes on that.
Well, it varies. Sometimes there's 3 minutes on it, sometimes they're not. So I just follow the agenda as is.
Yeah, but sometimes they're not really talking about what's on the agenda. I mean, just because the sentence has the word Des Moines in it doesn't mean
And I guess I'd add this, we can't, once you create that sort of public forum, we can't, discriminate based upon the viewpoint, right? So, you want to give them the attaboys for the great job or whatever, but once you open that, then you're subject to criticisms and everything else.
Yeah.
If that's what you want to do, that's fine. But that's kind of been a recurrent topic.
Now, I would think, can we limit the time on an agenda item to a certain number of minutes? I think we can.
Sure. And we've given, I think there's 2 opinions in your packet from when we first came to town about time, place, and manner.
But does Rule 14 apply to public comment, regardless of whether it's an agenda item or just a general whatever?
I'd interpret 14 to be 3 minutes for everything, but it says that the presiding officer can, limit discussion to a fixed period of time by the presiding officer. So that if we were just hypothetically going to do some annexation, get an hour's worth of speakers, the presiding officer could say, hey, we're only going to take a half an hour, or whatever. That's to me what that says. So, I mean, I think to answer your question squarely, I think you do have a 3-minute limitation of speakers. But it had been raised before, so I thought that's the way we set it up on the agenda.
Anything you guys want to do?
I guess I'm in favor of leaving it as is.
Including 3 minutes on the,
Yeah, it's 3 minutes on the agenda items
and both, for both.
Yes. and for public comment in general.
So be concise.
And then you always have the option of changing that if need be based on what the subject is for the evening, or like John said, if we've got,
Like a roundabout?
yeah,
I'm just gonna keep
No.
saying it.
no roundabouts.
No, that doesn't mean we have to allow people to just come up here and say things that flat out aren't true.
Well, but see, that's the whole, that's what I tried to explain with you. You don't have this, what I'll call viewpoint discrimination. If they're coming up here, they wanna talk, the sky's purple for 3 minutes. You created a public forum, so they're entitled to talk. Okay.
All right, do I have a motion just to make both comment sections, both agenda and public, 3 minutes?
Motion to make both public comment sections 3 minutes per time. Limited.
And agenda. Agenda and public.
Yeah, agenda and public comment.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Number 23, discussion of possible action regarding city attorney's attendance at council meetings.
And I asked this one to be put on because I think we've been at it 10 months, and originally, Bill Dagg said you guys didn't have council, at all the meetings. When Jessica was the mayor, it kind of came through, and then we had the chaos and all that. So I thought it was a good time to kick the tires to make sure this is what we still want to do.
To be honest, the 12 years I was on the council prior, we probably had the city attorney here 6 times.
Right, and that's what Dagg had said, is what I'm saying. Dagg had said you very rarely had council here, I think we're on the 10th one.
When we wanted to change an ordinance, we change it here, and then we'd send it off, and they'd okay it, and that's how they did that.
So that's why I raised the issue of cognizant expense. I thought, or some cities split it, like we have what I call sort of the business meeting, and then the next one is you guys are reviewing like the tree issue, or the grants and all that stuff where you don't need.
Yeah.
So I mean, I've seen it all over the board, but I thought we've been at it 10 months, and I thought this was kind of raise that issue.
Been 10 months, and it's also been raised by a few residents as well to monitor that expense.
But again, you're the driver of your expense until just recently. It's not. We're comfortable, we got the capacity.
I would rather do this split month for a couple months.
And dial down?
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good idea. That goes.
Cut back on expenses.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to see him move more to, the way Colfax does it. We meet once a month as a group, discuss things, and then we just only have one meeting a month where we pass it. They have a workshop every Wednesday before the meeting. They have one meeting a month.
Wouldn't necessarily be a bad idea, but the amount of things that we have.
Well, they have a lot of things, but that's what I'm saying. They do a workshop on Wednesday, and it goes 2, 3, 4 hours, but then when it comes to the meeting itself, that meeting is, they go right through because we've already discussed everything. We don't need any discussion. They don't need discussion. They don't need to act. They might have a little more information after they had discussions, but then the meeting just goes quick. Their meetings are an hour long.
That's what ours used to be.
Yeah, I mean, if we did,
Sometimes 30 minutes.
we did the homework, we did the homework without any decisions, and then had the meeting and we already knew where we were going, which way you guys were gonna vote, I think that's a much more effective way to pass our time.
Not gonna reduce the amount of meetings.
Yeah, well, they only have one meeting a month.
But if you have a workshop, that's a meeting. It's
Yeah,
another
but
evening.
we're only making decisions once a month. I mean, they have a workshop where they do all the work, discussions. The meeting itself is go right through. Saves on employees being at the meetings, saves on attorneys being at the meetings, it saves on a lot of features, functions, saves on our time.
Well, don't really save on our time for having a workshop one night for a number of
Yeah, but
hours.
we're doing all the research
Yeah, but
anyway,
you're
and then
still, if you look at total hours involved, it's still gonna be the same.
maybe, or maybe less.
Maybe more.
Maybe
Yeah.
something we can look at in the future.
So are we coming to a action on number 23?
One on, one off, John.
That's fine. And again, we have them all over the board, so, you know, how cities respond, so that's totally your guys' call. But like, if you did a workshop, like the mayor's saying, on one, you know, where you knew, or try and pile stuff so that you knew council would be there where you want, like input on contracts or, you know, whatever, like tonight, folks are going. So that then you could also, you know, Cody and I could kind of work on trying to segment the agenda this week, the lawyer meeting. Or whatever. And you think the first meeting of the month? Yeah.
Like the one in here.
Right now.
You're blocked in.
Right, weren't you already gone the next meeting? Weren't you on vacation?
Not this one.
Oh.
Plus they have this in town.
I don't think any actual action is needed on that one.
Yeah, I don't think you need to do much. I just want to have a consensus of the council kind of take.
Right. All right, number 24, address continued resident concerns regarding chapter 15.
So we continue to hear from residents about how or see things that chapter 15, which is the mayor's role that we had changed May 4th. It was going to probably happen regardless. It wasn't to shame him or stop him from having any kind of authority. We've been able to sit here and have conversations tonight, right?
Let's say it wouldn't have happened had the three of you not been elected. I'll agree to disagree with you on there.
Perfect.
We also wouldn't have a fire department.
Yeah.
No, you would have had a fire department. That was the life so everybody to get elected. Moving forward,
So now it is in alignment with the state of Iowa at the request and suggestion by several oversight bodies. That is the reason why it was done. That's what I was told back in January, before I even decided that this was a good idea. Is there any other concerns? Are we done now?
moving forward, number 24. Or 22, 25. What the hell? Yeah, the numbers are all wackadoo. We're going back to number 22, update from department heads.
Good evening, everyone. For those of you that are keeping track, 304 calls as of this morning. We've had 0 fireworks related incidents throughout the weekend, so I'm very happy about that. Everybody was at least safe enough not to get hurt or cause a fire, so that makes me very happy. The Independence Day celebration, we kicked it off with a 5K. We had 20 plus runners. That was fun. A lot of fun was had. There was young, old, strollers, It was all over the place, but it was fun. Look forward to doing that again next year. So thanks for everybody that had the hand in our celebration on Sunday. It was very well attended. I hate to know how many times the kids went up and down the slip and slide. I lost track, but it was hours and hours of fun for those kids. So it was a good time with everything else going in the park as well. It was a good time. The new ambulance is still coming along nicely. One or two of us will be traveling down to take a peek at it to sign off on the blueprints and stuff like that. So that's coming up pretty soon. Other than that, I have one more thing, but is there anything fire department related that I can answer for anyone?
Have we hired any firefighters?
We have not.
Okay, I just wanted to double check.
Yep, we have
Thank
not. Absolutely. All right, so I'll put on a different hat while I'm up here for a second. July 18th to the 24th is the Polk County Fair. It's held at the Iowa State Fairgrounds. There's a lot of youth in our city that take part in that one way or another. It's free to get in. I would love to see everybody down there. I will be down there all week. Most of my family will be there, but it's very well attended. There's shows and everything. It's just it's a Polk County Fair. It's an awesome thing to go attend and cheer on some of the youth in our city. So if you have questions about that, call me. Let me know. I can get you a schedule. I'll see if I can post it so you can find something you're interested in if you want to come down. Thank you very much.
Update from Public Works. Tom from ISG kind of touched on the water and wastewater of everything. Thank you for approving the contracts. Also, thank you for taking the time to listen to Municipal Supply on what they had to offer. Also, we received our dump truck. We'll be getting it outfitted with decals on it. The other thing, we got our Public Works truck as well. It'll have decals on it. I'm sure people have seen me driving around in it.
We're gonna plow on that too, right?
No. Nope. I've got plenty of vehicles with plows, so I'm leaving that one just to where we can travel.
But the purpose of it was to put a plow on it.
Nope.
No.
Other than that, I mean, we got meters read. Had a lot of fun for the 5th. The 4th, I was pretty busy with all the rain and everything. Does council have anything?
Could you, at next meeting, could you put together a little bit of information about which will help us on the meters, on the meter replacement program that we've got now, or where you foresee that going?
So
when do they get changed? How do they do it? Yada, yada, yada.
Yep. So right now I'm running low on supplies. Is the biggest reason I reached out to Municipal to see what they had to offer. To replace what we have right now, just to get 10 of them, was the meter alone was $1,000. To add the reader in there, I'm looking at 5,000, which is those radio reads. If I do a box of them, that's 10 grand. So this price is like cut in half, just so you guys are aware. Yeah, not quite. It's
$350 per set versus.
Yeah. So
$75.
yeah.
Thank you for your help with all the rain we had and making sure that things are set up for our town. We appreciate all your help with that. Everybody else on Public Works and Parks and Rec.
Awesome. Thank you guys.
Thanks, Jason.
That coordinating, that quote was for if he were to order a meeting right now.
I'm talking for the library today. And summer reading, the last day is July 11th. It's Saturday. Meet at the library for your prizes. Turn in all your reading little leaves. And after the prizes are given out, there's gonna be a big party, end of summer, or not end of summer, excuse me, end of summer reading party at the park. It's a big, big deal, so, and everybody's invited, it's not just the readers. So children that didn't get involved in the reading because it's on Saturdays, come to the park. Maybe go to the library first, because I don't know times. Trent didn't give me that, but it'll all work out. And then starting July 14th at 1 p.m. every Tuesday, they're gonna have finger knitting with Roddy Brand, and she's gonna teach the kids how to finger knit. And I thought that was awesome. And even adults could probably go if you have a daycare, you know, that might be something that a daycare provider could learn, or I don't know. I just thought when I heard it was for kids, I thought maybe even grandmas could learn that, because that would be a fun activity to learn. And then July 15th, Blank Park Zoo will be visiting the library from 2 to 3. And they're bringing some really good little surprises, we'll say, yes. That's all.
Update from clerk and council members.
Okay, so the IMWCA, which is our workman's comp program, I'll be starting that audit soon. And then also the SRF report, I got an email that opened up today. It's usually due, if I remember right, September, October, maybe. So there's some time still to get it done. It will get done. But that prep will be starting and working through that stuff. There has been some builders reach out asking in regards to TIF and how we want to handle that. So I'm working on gathering some documents to start looking at that with you guys and planning to get their minds going too. See what direction the city wants to keep moving in, because some of the new budget rules that were put in place to affect. Yeah, that will be coming out. Residents, there were 16 properties that we hadn't heard back what kind of pipes, if it was lead or not. We had sent those letters out, I've gotten some back. But just a reminder, if you got them, you can get them sent back to us or call, have the guys come out and look at your pipes. Because we do need to have that information. If anybody would like, I did get some information for for River Valley Veterans Network for an upcoming event. I can give you the information for that if you are interested. We can also put it on Facebook and the website. And then last thing I had was the special elections tomorrow. So we'll be open. It usually runs from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Thank you for everybody. It was a great time in the park and in the city over the weekend. It's great seeing everybody come together like that. So great work and really fun for everybody.
I'd agree with that. I got an update from the library board meeting because I had another class to go to that night. They have got the contract signed to replace the doors to the library and such, so that's good. Going forward, the only other thing is, the Legion's blood drive is this coming Saturday from 8 to 11:30 at the community center. If you haven't signed up to donate and would like to donate, you can either do it online or get in contact with me and I'll get you put on the schedule, or if nothing else, show up that morning. And we've at least gotten away from all the COVID protocol for 2 or 3 years where they wouldn't take walk-ins. If you were more than 5 minutes late, they wouldn't take you. So anyway, but every unit of blood that's donated sustains or saves up to 3 lives. So it takes, 30 to 45 minutes to pop in. And you get treats at the end.
Deal.
I'm done.
I signed up for it. I can't remember.
Yes, please come out and vote tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll think about it. I got nothing.
Okay,
I have nothing.
Fire department.
agreed.
John, you're free to go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, there we go.
What's your favorite part?
Yeah, my favorite part. All right. Public comment. 3 minutes. Oh, shucks. I should have organized all that.
Casey Hope, 403 Fifth Street, since this is your favorite partner. As tomorrow's election approaches, I just want to encourage every eligible resident to get out and vote. Every election matters, even when the two names are on the ballot and it's really unopposed. But our community deserves strong participation from its residents for Cody and Jerry to have strong support. I just want to take a few minutes also to recognize positive things happening in our town. I just want to thank Nikki Chambers and those who organized the beautiful memorial bench that is in front of the Vine now in honor of Candy Deal. I know that it was installed and it's beautiful tribute to a woman that was a big part of this community. Matt and his crew did a great job with the Parks and Recreation 5th of July celebration. And also the mixed state bingo that he's doing has been really fun. I just want to thank Public Works because I know I saw Jason up at the Ville and they were working a lot of extra hours. The hours are, needed for our community to function. So they're keeping it safe and functioning, as is Jacoby. So extra hours are needed for our community to function. There are also opportunities for our community to come together coming days at the blood drive. Blake Park Zoo is coming. Also, the event at Pumpkinville is July 18th, and that's Christmas in July. Those are just great things that make our community a special place to be. Finally, I just want to say again, we have the best fire department. They continue to respond to the increasing number of calls while serving our community with professionalism and dedication. I just appreciate the council's continued support, providing them equipment and resources that are needed to do their jobs safely and effectively, and investing in them. As I share all that is good in our community, I still do believe that we cannot fully move forward while we continue under leadership that has resulted in poor decisions, the contentious several months of meetings, unnecessary division, and a loss of public trust. So it's time to turn the page. So again, tonight I will ask respectfully for Tony to resign. Thank you.
Thank you, Casey. Who's next?
Welcome.
Jason Batten, 215 2nd Street, Northeast, Mitchellville, Iowa. My only question is, Tony, why do you refuse to sign my check?
Oh, I haven't seen it yet. I saw it last time I had.
The past two weren't signed.
I saw it last time. I had questions and I haven't seen it again.
Okay.
It's probably in this back right here.
Okay, thank you.
Chrissy Bowers, 313 3rd Street Northwest. And I just want to kind of piggyback on Casey, that thank you to everybody for working so hard. Thank you to the fire department, you council. Steve, we're so glad you're okay. Saturday, I guess it was Sunday. Sunday, I took today off, so I'm on Sunday. But anyways, I digress. Sunday was such a beautiful day, and it was a family fun. We didn't really have police presence. We were a nice community. We had hot dogs, hamburgers, watermelon, and the kids were so excited to get those awards. It was the sweetest time. And I just want to thank everybody that from the beginning to the end, the budget being able to be approved, to have something as simple as that still takes dollars. It takes time for our employees. And I'm very, very happy with how everything went off. And we did not need a sheriff there. So it was beautiful. Thank you, everybody, for being great Mitchellville people.
All right, anybody else? Three minutes, Don.
Yeah, I hear you. Don Berkey, 113 2nd Street Northwest. You can start ignoring me now, but I'd like to remind you that the crown of power must be worn lightly, if you can understand it. I feel like at that council, there's only, well, he's gone now, so there's only two people that understand what that means. These are the things that I wanted to address. I have questions on the possible new meters. Mr. Cleverly, the water barricades, the attorney excusing himself when a matter concerning him is going to be talked about. I think that would have been the ethical way. Bikes, these are the things. Cover this in 3 minutes? No way. Okay, you've cut me out. I'll dwell on Mr. Cleverly. He puts in his time behind 4 locked doors. Nobody can get to him. There are also 2 other employees usually in there with him. You can't get to them. How are they employees if the public can't get to them? I myself lucked out. I had tried the northwest door with a combination push button on it. Couldn't get in, of course. I'd already tried the other doors, the other 3, and they were all locked. But along came a fire person and let me in. I went back to his office. That door was locked. When he did get up and come to the door, he opened it about 5 inches. What do you want? Not how can I help you? I saw that there were 2 other employees in there sitting down. I concluded my business with him at the time. But my point is, if you can't get to somebody during their 8-hour shift, why pay them?
Don, I would like to recognize part of what you talked about.
Just talk slowly, please.
Okay, in 2020, because of the COVID thing.
In 2020, because what?
Because of COVID, I do believe.
COVID.
I do believe they changed the rules that allowed fire departments to lock the doors. Am I wrong on that? Is Mike, Jason, is anybody still here? I'm pretty sure that's what I understood.
Our doors are locked and we are not present.
But
It's not a public building.
But I understand that, but in 2020, wasn't it changed to where doors were locked because of the COVID thing? I heard something about that.
We always have the same protocol. If we're there, it's people can come in and we more than happy to show them around. I don't believe COVID had anything to do with it.
Okay. So you're saying that people were in there, somebody let you in, and he was already there?
Well, I can't get in there.
That's not the question I asked, Don. What I'm asking is, you were knocking on the door, somebody let you in, and there were already people in there?
No, I didn't knock on the door. I just stood there, and along came a fire person, and I said I wanted to talk to Matt, and so he let me in.
Oh, do you guys have doorbells that?
We do. They're on the alley and the back door. There are doorbells.
Well, I didn't see any then.
I've seen the doorbell on the west side. I've seen that. I didn't know what it did. I've never pushed it, but I've seen the doorbell on the west side. So Don, there is, on this side, the gun store side, there is a doorbell.
The northwest corner.
Northwest corner, there is a doorbell,
Okay?
right? Okay, yeah, correct.
On the very south.
So if you, next time, if you have a problem, if you ring that doorbell and there are people there, then come and let us know if you have a problem with accessing anybody there.
All right, thank you.
Okay? But there's a doorbell where else, Mike?
Very south door.
Okay, so
Not the old council chamber.
well, it's essentially two doors, right?
No,
Two
there's-
doors that are closest to each other?
Correct.
Okay,
There's one through the police department.
right, not that one. The northwest door,
Yeah?
that's closest to the overhead doors.
Oh,
And
yeah.
if you go around the corner, there's a doorbell there too.
When you say around the corner, you mean to the south?
Yes. So push the doorbell, and then if you have any problem after this night, let us know.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? All right, motion to adjourn.
Aye.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Adjourned. And what happened last week, the lady that gave me her glasses?
Sandra? She'll be,
That's Sandra?
yeah, that was Sandra.
Oh, I've never met her. I've talked to her a million times. I know where she lives. I'll drop them off. She's not here.
Yeah, been my neighbor over 20 years.
Is she like 3 blocks away?
Nope. Wrong address.
You're up across from the store.
One of my residents.